The day the crown shifted, the world saw a quiet transition, a constitutional formality, a son stepping in as Prince Regent while his father weakened. But inside palace walls, that moment didn't mark stability. It triggered something far more dangerous. Because the moment Prince William gained access to the monarchy's deepest secrets, he uncovered a system that was never meant to be seen. And what followed wasn't tradition. It was a purge. The regent rises, power without warning. The Regency came suddenly. King Charles, weakened and increasingly absent from decision-making, left a vacuum, one that required immediate control. William stepped in, not just as heir, but as authority. At first, everything appeared smooth. Public appearances were calm. Statements were controlled. The monarchy projected unity. But behind closed doors, William wasn't adjusting to power. He was investigating it. The discovery, numbers that didn't add up. Within days, William began reviewing internal financial records. Routine at first. Then something strange appeared. Service contracts with no clear purpose. Payments routed through unfamiliar companies. Expenses approved without oversight. The deeper he looked, the clearer it became. This wasn't mismanagement. This was a system. Millions had been quietly siphoned through inflated contracts and shell companies. Hidden in plain sight. The inner circle, a hidden network, emerges. Names began to surface. Tom Parker Bowles, Laura Lopez, and a tightly controlled circle connected to Camilla. What William uncovered wasn't direct theft in the obvious sense. It was strategic, a network of financial channels designed to secure influence, stability, and long-term security, but not for the crown, for individuals. And at the center of it all was a structure, built during a time when Charles was least able to notice or resist. The lockdown, when the palace turned inward. Once the investigation began, the atmosphere inside the palace changed overnight. Access to records became restricted. Staff movements were quietly monitored. Digital systems were suddenly under maintenance. And then, documents started disappearing. Attempts were made to destroy or alter key evidence. Files went missing. Servers were accessed at unusual hours. This was no longer just discovery. It was resistance. The personal collapse, trust shattered at the top. The revelations didn't just threaten the institution. They tore through relationships. William found himself facing a reality no heir should ever confront. Protecting his father from someone his father trusted most. The emotional weight was immense. A monarchy built on loyalty was now confronting betrayal from within. And the damage wasn't just financial. It was deeply personal. The purge, silent, strategic, surgical. William didn't act publicly. There were no dramatic announcements, no televised confrontations. Instead, he moved quietly. Contracts were terminated. Key figures were removed from influence. Internal roles were reshuffled overnight. Access was cut. Networks were dismantled. Control was reestablished. This wasn't chaos. It was calculated. William's first act of real power wasn't symbolic. It was surgical. The public illusion, calm above, chaos below. To the outside world, nothing seemed wrong. Royal engagements continued. Smiles remained. The crown stood steady. But beneath that image, a silent war had already taken place. A restructuring of power, a cleansing of corruption, a redefinition of loyalty. And no one outside the palace truly knew how close it came to collapse. The legacy question, what comes next? The crisis raised a question far bigger than any scandal. What kind of king will William become? One shaped by tradition, or one defined by what he had to confront? Because power doesn't just reveal truth. It changes the person who holds it. And William's first test wasn't ceremonial. It was survival. The crown doesn't forget. In history, royal transitions are remembered for their pageantry. But some are remembered for something else. For the secrets they exposed, the trust they shattered, and the decisions that redefined everything. William didn't just inherit a throne. He inherited a system. And when he saw what it had become, he chose not to protect it. He chose to change it. Because in the end, the crown doesn't fall from enemies outside. It cracks from within.